Hello, dearest. Welcome to a new episode of the podcast. I'm Sela, and this is Each Page Flow, episode 25, or episode 7 of season 3, dedicated to Where She Went by Gail Forman. Before we get into it, I have a little confession. I watched the movie before I read the books because of Grace Moretz. At the time, she was awesome. She still is, but at the time she was sort of trending. I watched every movie that she was in, so it was the same for If I Stay. If I Stay is the first book in this duology, which, if you haven't read, it is about Mia's story and what happened to her point of view, her relationship with Adam, and the accident that changed her life. And it was a good one. But when I started reading Where She Went, immediately in the first page, I was hooked and I knew it was gonna be awesome. So that's why I talk more about Where She Went than I talk about If I Stay, which is good and I liked it, but Where She Went kind of overshadow for me If I Stay. The sequel, Where She Went, it makes you rethink everything that you already read, but it is a sequel. It continues what happened to Mia and to Adam. It is mostly, don't kind of remember all of it, but I think mostly from Adam's point of view. It started with Adam, and I immediately knew that it was him when I started reading the book. And you kind of get to see what happened after the accident, after Mia survived, and what happened to Adam. Which, full disclosure, there's gonna be spoilers on this book because I'm gonna, in this episode, I assume that you have read the books. So you are good to either talk about it, remember, or you don't mind a bit of spoilers. So, and Where She Went, Adam is a rock star, and you are seeing what has happened to him, and while everybody loves him and all, inside he's falling apart completely, and it is a glamorous life, not to him, basically because he doesn't have Mia. And the whole book happens in one night, like a full flashback between Adam and Mia, because they meet in New York again and they start talking, and you get to see all that happened in the past 3 years, or was it more? As far as I know, it's 3 years, as far as I can remember. So they have all of this unfinished business and everything, and what they haven't talked about, and they're not happy and together. So there's that whole thing, want to know what happened with them. And as Adam starts telling his story, his perspective, I couldn't put it down. I read this book in one sitting. That had not happened to me ever. The book is not that long. I mean, if you compare it with, I don't know, Harry Potter or City of Bombs or any other book, fantasy, that they have a lot more pages. And story is not that long, so it was easier to read in one sitting. But I also didn't care and just sat down a weekend and read it. By the time I was done, I was fully immersed and could not believe what I have just read. So, one of the things that I really loved about Where She Went is the music. Collateral Damage, all the songs that are on the book, either snippets or the names of the songs or how they were written, how Adam's whole career evolves his whole career is surrounded, and it is basically thanks to what he felt. And you kind of thank Mia because she destroyed Adam basically when she left him, and he got to write all of this music that people relate to and were really, into it. It's a whole really clever way of telling the story. The author really got into it in a way that made music what we already know it is. How the lyrics, how the songs and everything touch people, and I find that amazing and fascinating. Animated and Stitch had some of my favorite lines, and it really was amazing. It was ages ago, so I don't remember the exact quotes or the exact passages from the book, but I do know that I read it and I was so into it. And when I read my review from years ago before doing this podcast, I was like, wow, I really enjoyed this book. I should read it again to see if I have the same perspective now. I don't even remember how many years it's been since I read it. So Mia in the book, we kind of see her through Adam's eyes. Not entirely, because there are small moments that we are like, oh, okay, Mia grew up or wherever she became famous. But there is that perspective about how she changed as well. It's not just Adam, they both are superstars on their own way after all the years that have passed. I wanted more, but it had, the ending wasn't like the best, like okay, that's how it ended and that's good. No, it was a small part that you wanted to keep going, and you wanted to keep being in that war with Mia and Adam. So the relationship really makes you want to stay and read more about it, but it's so worth it to read it all. If you haven't watched the movie, you should. I have watched it a couple of times. Last time I was a little, yes, it's good, but the book is better, which was not the case first. But I still would rewatch it in the background if I do something else, because it's good. And the books, I do want to read them again, because I really need to know if I will have the same perspective now that I had years ago. So do I recommend it? Yes, I do. I believe I gave it 5 stars at the time. And I'm not sure that I did the same with If I Stay, but for where she went, yes, obviously I do recommend it, and I gave it a full stars review. And you kind of have to read If I Stay to read Where She Went to understand what is happening there. So I'm not gonna say that they are standalone or that you can skip one or the other. They go both in the same package, and you will need to read both. You can watch the movie, perhaps, If I Stay, and then read the book Where She Went, but I wouldn't recommend it. I think you should read the full duology, and that would be an experience on its own. So if you'd like to read my original review, you can on the blog hpage.org. There's the full review. I haven't changed it, and I have no intention of changing my original thoughts. You can go and let me know there in the blog if you have read it, or you can drop me a comment here on the podcast, so I know that you are interested in reading or you have read it. And I just brought back all the nostalgia and all the memories from all that time long ago. for the next episode, because we are done for today. Sorry, I was kind of on a rant today, and this one came out a little shorter than other episodes, but for the next one it would also be a sequel, as we've been doing for season 3, and it will probably be about either Midnight Song, which is a sequel, or Catching Fire, which is a sequel. I like Catching Fire better than The Hunger Games, the book one, and I haven't talked about the original Hunger Games books. I only talked about the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes and Sunrise on the Reaping, which you can listen to here on the podcast, in YouTube or in Spotify as well, and also on Apple Podcasts now. It is available. So next episode is I Love Those Two, and I have a little something to announce that it will be the last 2 episodes, so keep an eye out for those 2, because it will be the end of season 3 as we move on into season 4, which will bring back manga, anime, and probably light novels, because I want to talk about my happy marriage and you do not want to miss that. That's all for today, dearies. Thank you so much for joining me again, and don't forget to drop me a comment if you like to know more about this book, where she went, or if you want to hear any other book specific, just let me know, and I hope to see you soon. Thank you, dearies.